Hi, I'm Emile Flowers with the Divorce Lending Association, and I'm a certified divorce lending professional or CDLP. This is part of our divorce literacy series, and today I'm here with Joshua Salley from New York Life. And I've gotten to know him fairly well through another person that I interviewed, Anne Maloney. And he is a Marine Corps veteran, which is near and dear to my heart since my son is an active duty Marine. And he helps a lot of veterans. And I want him to tell us more about what he does with veterans and with New York Life. So, Josh, um, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then thank you so much for coming as well.
Not a problem to be here. Happy to be here. So I'm an 8-year Marine Corps veteran. I served 2001 to 2009. I'm a father of four. I'm married to my lovely wife, who's an occupational therapist, and I am also a Christian. And I take the things I've learned in life through being a veteran and what I've learned through learning from my kids and my wife. They teach me a lot in what I do, and I've used those tools to help assist in the veteran community. The veteran community is typically, when they talk about being left behind, is a group that's left behind. As a veteran myself, we often feel very alone in the process, especially in divorce. Divorce rates in the veteran community are at the highest rate of any other group out there. Whether active duty or out, those are things that we feel left behind. And that's a market that I want to work with and have worked with and have been able to help dozens and dozens of people navigate the system just to acquire basic things like life protection, some assurity in retirement, being able to invest properly and provide for their family after the fact. And it's been very rewarding, and it's been nice to be able to serve and help others in that aspect.
Yeah, I think serve is the operative word here, and that is what we always talk about doing together, right? Is serving different communities. And tell us a little bit more about how that New York Life side of you helps the veteran and veteran divorce side with how they move forward.
So typically, the way I approach it is to see if there's things that can help to keep the marriage together. A lot of times when I get divorce and talk of divorce, it's typically past that point, but sometimes we're able to work on things and people are able to maintain their marriage and work on things. But what we do is we take a look at their assets, and assets, typically I'm talking about their 401ks, their TSPs, their IRAs, what they have, and their current pensions, anything that's liquid. And then we talk about their home. And their home isn't technically an asset until they sell it, but there's equity in those homes. And most of the time, those things, the the spouse, and with a lot of people I work with, it's the wife and the ex-wife gets a large chunk of that. And most veterans have disability pay,
Mhm.
and it's a hard network to navigate. Most people just want to do a fire sale to get out of that marriage, and I help them make a more lasting, better, intelligent decision on what to do, because a lot of times that separation, those things don't need to be split up half. A lot of times there's things that assets that the person has before and they have after the separation. And typically when it comes to disability, a lot of times the spouse was never there. Like a lot of times these guys were single and they got married after the fact, and we help navigate that process and make it equal and make it fair. Because a lot of times veterans get burned when it comes to equity buyouts and division of retirements and disability pay and even custody of kids. We will bring lawyers into the situation that are more suited to help veterans that deal with veterans, and a lot of them are veterans themselves. We bring mortgage lenders that actually will go in there and not just try to make a sale, that will do what's right for the individuals and make it something that is balanced and works for both people, and a decision that they're not regretting 2 years down the road. That's one of the biggest things is you get 2 years down the road and you realize you lost more than half of what you had when you didn't need to. All you had to do was take a step or two more and involve one or two more people, and it could have been a fair and equitable outcome.
I agree with you so much. You and I have conversations about this all the time. I will have a client who is going to be receiving, equity or a lump sum or something, and the minute they get it, they want to put it down on the home into a dormant asset. And I'm constantly stating, have you talked to your financial advisor yet? Do you have one? Can I introduce you to a really good one? Because well, you could have your opportunity cost is so much higher. You're thinking small when 2 years down the road you're going to regret the decision of just dumping that, because it's a more permanent thing when you do it. It's not like you can easily take it out. So I understand that, and I encourage them to work with all of us together. Right? Sometimes it's a team of people. Um, if somebody's contemplating divorce, and you're past the point where they can get back together, and we have to do something with assets, tell us what the process is, or what, give us some insight or a tidbit to educate us on what things we should think about or do.
Well, typically you get a lawyer first. That's your first step.
Sometimes,
I tell
not
people,
always.
I mean, sometimes you can do it in a convenient manner, but I've rarely seen that. Typically, one person wants something and the other person wants something, and they never equal up. I mean, typically, I get a lawyer. A certified divorce lending professional is a necessity in these situations because they are much more adept at running the mortgage side, especially in divorce, and have options that other people can't do. And you can speak more into detail about those, but when we sit there, especially on the veteran side, I mean, veterans are guaranteed the lowest rate. They don't have to put money down. Their costs are typically low. There's no point to putting in two, three, $400,000 out of a house into that when you can take that money and invest it and put it elsewhere. What the money you'd save on your mortgage payment, unless you're staying in there 30 years, doesn't make sense. Most people move every 4 to 5 years. That's what we're typically seeing. And that money, that 300K, you could put into an investment and it could be $1 million in 5 years. You'll never have the ability to do that again. So 2 years down the road, when you're saving $900 on your mortgage payment, that $900 a month isn't going to grow into much. I mean, it'll take 20, 30, 40 years when you can take something out of an equity buyout and you can invest that and have it grow tremendously in a short period of time. And we just try to help navigate where people don't do stupid things with their money in their retirement. And we work both sides. Typically try to get an advisor for both sides and separate it. It's a conflict of interest to have two advisors or have a single advisor. You want two advisors, one that's going to work for one side and one that's going to work for the other. And once you have all those moving pieces in there, typically you can come up with a game plan that actually works for everyone. If it's one-sided, one person, I mean, I can't tell you how many veterans I know that just gave up the farm just to get out of it, and they sit here now and they regret it.
Yeah, I
And you can't
agree.
go back and change the past.
And that lump sum is going to grow so much faster than if you were saving monthly over time and investing it that way. Am I correct? I mean, it's having
Even
that
now
big
with
lump sum.
Yeah, even now with mortgage rates the way they are, we typically have returns that are higher than even what the rate is now. And there's no point in putting, like you said earlier, there's no point in putting money into a dead asset because it's a dead asset. It's dormant. It doesn't do anything for you at that time until you actually put it on the market. And at that point, you're subject to market conditions. Who knows what you're going to get out of it? Maybe you get what you put it up for. I mean, right now, people are kind of getting what they put up for. Typically, they're having to take a loss to sell it, move it, and things are on the market longer. It's people just don't know all the options. And without a financial advisor, a CDLP, and a lawyer, typically they can't make the best and most informed decision.
I agree. And I know that you guys provide so many options. There's so many facets that you can dive into. It's not a cookie cutter thing. Believe me, I've worked with Josh and a couple other people at New York Life, and I know what they have to offer. It's incredible. If somebody was going to get in touch with you today, how would they reach you?
They can they can go on New York Life and type in my name and it'll go straight to my page and they can put their information. Typically my cell phone is the easiest. Text or call 972-522-8559 and just reach out, and if you have any questions, I will return your call within 24 hours.
That is incredible. That timeliness. I don't think I've ever had a time where I haven't really been able to get a hold of you. Any final thoughts?
Same for you.
Any final thoughts?
I mean, I would just tell people don't rush into a divorce. I mean, you're separating a lifetime of not just assets, but memories, and there's typically children and other things involved. If divorce becomes the final solution to what's going on, at least involve people that can sit there and help you navigate it properly, and not just you, also your spouse that you're severing from. Like you want it to be, you love them, so I mean, you still want it to be fair for them.
Yeah.
There's no need to rush into it. It's a process anyways, regardless of whether you rush into it. You might as well make the process work for both people and for it to be equitable and make sense.
I agree with that. My goal is to make both parties come out whole. And yes, I agree it's a conflict of interest for them to have one financial planner. They need to have two. On the mortgage side, though, it's a little easier to have one, right?
Correct. Yes.
Because I'm using all the same paperwork, but I have that confidentiality agreement in place. So I can time things out perfectly to make things come together. But I do agree with the fact that two financial advisors is definitely the way to go. Well, thank you, Josh. I really appreciate your time today and your insight and the work that you do with Christian men and veterans and my beloved Marine Corps. So I just truly appreciate you and your insight. So thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it. Happy to serve.
Awesome. Well, we'll have a good one and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. You too. God bless.